Hi, this is Phil from underKG.com. Today we got hTC One. It's called the M8 from 2014, coming from the 2013's M7. On the photos, it seemed like it was all the same than the last year's model, but holding it in the hands makes a real difference. Of course, it's got some of the differences is that more of a rounded corners and the more curved back, which makes it a whole lot easier to be holding in the hands. And last year's models suffer from the quality issues. There's the photos that you can put a name card between the screen and the frame, and this year's model is completely different. It's totally well built. It's amazing in the build quality how HTC did it. It's amazing. To start with, it's got a stereo speaker. They're calling it the boom sound speakers on the top and bottom. It's got a front-facing camera, 5-inch of a full HD display, and the HTC logo. The last year's model used to have the back and the home key surrounding the logo, and now they put it in the soft key, built it into the screen. It may be controversial since some people do like soft keys and some people don't, and considering that they could have built the back and the home key to the next to the logos, it seems that utility-wise and the efficiency-wise, it might not have been exactly a good call for that, but it's already done. So there's a micro SD card slot on the right side. You can pop this up with the pin like you do with most of the SIM card slot on the phones. You can expand up to 128 gigabytes. There's a volume rocker. On the top is a power key with the infrared port expanded up to take the whole top side to your remote controlling of your telly. On the left is a nano SIM card. Of course, you can pop that up with a pin. On the bottom is a micro USB port with the 3.5mm headphone jack. Move to the bottom. That's a welcome change. There are two cameras on the back. They're calling it the dual cam. It's used to take photos with two different focuses, so you can actually choose between the focuses, so your phone can kind of merge it up to make a better photo and give you more options on the focuses. There are two colored dual-tone LED flash and their noise-canceling microphone, HTC logo and the Verizon logo, and so on and so forth. The plastic and the metal part over here has almost no problems at all. The build quality again is totally amazing, as you can see in the video right here. The build quality, it doesn't suffer from any of the last year's problems that the last year's one had. The Nokia started the double tap to wake, and LG has made a hit on their G2 by including the function, and it seems like many of the manufacturers are including that function. I guess they don't hold any patience back to it. So Sony had it, and HTC also has a tap to wake function. So waking up, you can get a little bit of glimpse into this HTC's latest user interface called the Sense 6. And some people might actually refer that as a sixth sense. And the software itself is Sense 6 with the Android 4.4.2 KitKat, and it does include the ART runtime, and it runs very, very smooth. The overall user interface is really clean. It's got a flat look and the clean interface. Everything is pretty much straightforward, and they're not only straightforward but also is really beautiful and elegant in their movements. They still have their blink feed, so you can scroll through the news articles and tap on it to read it. It's a nice way to kill your time, but I'm not exactly a big fan of it curated information, so I didn't find myself using it that much. So that's the basic of the Sense. And the specs wise, it's most of the phones nowadays have probably the standard specifications. It's got a Snapdragon 801. It's a flagship, so Snapdragon 801, 2 gigs of RAM, and the full HD display, so on and so forth. That's pretty much it. 32 gigabytes of storage should be pretty much enough, and if it is not, you can expand your memory with your micro SD card slot right there. And talking about the display and the full HD display, HTC has been always known for putting a great display on their phones, but this guy, Super LCD 3, I think, is totally amazing. This is probably one of the best displays I've ever seen on the mobile devices. Its color reproduction is really good, and its viewing angle is almost perfect. I didn't find it any problem using at any kind of angles. And talking about the camera, the dual cam on the back does pretty amazing job. HTC has been including those cameras called the ultra pixel cameras. The concept of it is that making the pixels having the less pixels and giving each of the pixels more of a lighting capabilities, so you can take brighter pictures in the darker spots. The result is it takes amazing photos in the daylights, and on the darker spots it takes amazing photos too. But the best part of this dual cam is that you can choose between the focuses on the already taken photos. So you can go to Edit, and there's a menu called the UFocus. So you can tap on that, and you will be allowed to choose between the items inside your photo to give specific item a focus to. That's a neat function. And there's a thing called the foregrounder. It's just a gimmicky, nifty function, so you can add up a lot of effects on the parts of the photo that does not hold the focus on. And there's a thing called Dimension Plus. You know, there 2 or 3 years ago, there's been many of the 3D phones, including the HTCs and the LGs, and HTC has taken a different measure here. So you can tilt your phone, or you can just tap on here and just use your finger to tilt around your photo to have a little bit of a 3D, kind of a pseudo 3D effect. And it works pretty well. It's amazing how they do it. So dual camera finds itself useful, and so does the stereo boom sound. The boom sound stereo speaker works fairly well, and the sound quality coming from it is very amazing. It's just almost as good as the iPad speaker, only for that the sound is a lot, the volume is a lot lower. Aside from that, the quality of the sound is pretty amazing. But there is a problem. The speaker itself is amazing, but the 3.5mm headphone jack and connecting your headphones to it isn't exactly amazing. The sound suffers from it's very tuned lightly. Turning on the boom sound does its job, and I do have to mention that they must have meant it to look like the Beats Audio, which they already sold the company. But this Beats Audio looking like boom sound effect does not only work on your speakers, but also works on your headphones. And when you turn it on, it does certainly make the sound kind of a crispier, but the overall sound quality is just like too light. It's just too bouncy. I don't know exactly how to put it, but it's not exactly a true good of a sound quality compared to the Galaxy S5 or the Xperia Z2. So that's that. And the overall performance is very amazing, and so is the battery life. The battery life, it's got a 2600 milliamps of the built-in battery, which lasts about a day, which is a very good job considering what my pattern of my usage on the smartphones. Most of the phones don't exactly last a day, and this guy does. Although Galaxy S5 and the Xperia Z2 had better results, this is still good as a 2600 milliamps of battery. So that's pretty much about it. And the specs-wise, I don't exactly have many things to say, because the benchmark gives about, of course there's been issues about HTC kind of modifying about the benchmark speed and everything. It still ranks about 34,000 scores on the Antutu benchmark. And everything you do, whatever you do on this phone, is really smooth. And starting from the scrolling, zooming in and zooming out, and moving between the websites and surfing on the web, whichever you do, it does amazing jobs. Performance-wise, we have zero issues about this guy. But here's the thing. There are competitors. It may be Galaxy Note 3. It could be the Galaxy S5 that we already dealt with. Or it could be the Xperia Z2, although this guy's the Z1. There could be competitors, and there are. If this was the only device sold in the market, I would be totally happy with the HTC One M8. But it's not. And its competitors do have all the great things that HTC M8 does, and they are even better in some parts. The Galaxy S5 and the Xperia Z2 even has waterproof on top of everything that HTC One does. And it's got even more battery. S5 for the 2800 milliamps and the Z2 even for 3200 milliamps. Compared to 2600 milliamps, they totally top on most of the features that the HTC One has. Would I get the HTC One M8 at the year of 2014? I could. I think I would. But would I take that at the same price considered to the Galaxy S5 or the Xperia Z2? I totally doubt that. If this guy was priced about like, say, $100 cheaper than the competitors, I could have totally taken that and sacrificed all the nice little features that like the noise cancelling of the Xperia Z2 or the waterproof and sturdy build quality of the Galaxy S5, although it's ugly. But this is priced the same way as the competitors are. If they are the same price, I sort of doubt if I'm gonna get this in the same price. It's a nice phone, but not for the same price as its competitor nowadays in the market. So that was a hTC M8. Tap on here to subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you guys back with the more of an interesting device and the more of a informative reviews coming soon. Thank you all much for watching. Bye.